And we're in progress. Great. All right. So um, the time now is 7:07, and I am going to. Oh, here's Mr. James. Great. I am calling to order the Parks Committee meeting for Community Board 12 at 7:07 exactly. Okay. So first, I'm going to share the agenda. The agenda has been slightly revised, but not anything too critical. Hold on 1 minute. Let me just pull that up. Okay. And then let me share. Here we go. Okay, make this a little bit bigger.
Good evening, Mrs. Bond.
Good evening, Mr. James. Good evening. Okay.
I am having a little difficulty with my audio, but I'll get it fixed.
Okay. All right. Great. So the only thing that has been revised is that there's just one other letter of support that has been added to the agenda. Everything else remains the same. So Mr. Ortiz I spoke to him earlier. He could not be here today, but at the last meeting, they presented the Shoelace Park fitness equipment presentation, which was quite in depth, but we did not have a quorum in order to vote on it. So that Shoelace Park fitness presentation is available to be viewed by the committee members. If anyone has any questions in reference to that, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to have Mr. Ortiz call you or to answer the question if it's something I can answer. Also, and George clarified this before he had to go, the Eastchester Playground letter of support, that was something that was voted on back in April, and they just never received the letter, so George is going to take care of that. And then we have the letter of support for the proposed green garden at Marola Place and Pratt, and Jaylene is here to give us an overview of what's been going on with that. And then we have a few updates from Mr. Duron from Parks for Community Board 12. And also Victoria Toro is here from the Bronx River Alliance. And then this is our last meeting for this Community Board year. And so just wanted to give a brief overview of like the several ongoing projects that we have. And if there's some other hopes or aspirations that we have moving forward, there's always so much that is going on within the community, within our lives, that I just figured it's a good point in the year to just stop and kind of reflect and see where we are, what things we want to kind of address moving forward. And then we'll round out the evening with just once again the endorsement for checking out the urban park rangers and their calendar of events. And then if there are any other questions or concerns, we will address it in that and at that time. So
Denise, I have a quick jump in just on the agenda.
yes,
Going back
yes.
to letters of support. Eastchester Playground is not a District CB12 issue. That's Community Board 11.
Eastchester Playground.
Yeah.
But it was something that was addressed here.
I don't think so. I think you're confusing that with another one. We did have an Eastchester Playground meeting that was in the Community Board 11
Mhm.
Parks Committee.
Oh well, you know what? Unless okay, maybe I'm mixing up the two. Maybe I have the wrong playground. That is totally possible. But I will put a pin in that and we'll come back to that. Let me highlight that and I will bold that to make sure I double check on which playground because it might not be the Eastchester playground then.
Yeah, that's a different community board, Eastchester Playground.
Okay. Thank you so much. I stand
And with Mike,
corrected.
Mike has a whole bunch of stuff he's working on, so that was probably just cross signals with him, with Mike
Right.
Ortiz communicating with you and George. So
Right. So we will definitely double check that. No problem. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, and I will look into it and we'll
No problem.
get into that. All right. So the shoelace well, this one I know definitely is ours. The shoelace park fitness equipment. That presentation was pretty extensive, as I said. Mr. Ortiz is not here today. He was not able to make this meeting, but like I said, that PowerPoint presentation is available on YouTube. I believe that um, George was able to take the presentation and put it into our YouTube meeting for May. You could go back and you can look at it there. So I'm there. I don't think that there was anything glaring that we should not support it. So in the reference of time, if the committee members do not object, I would just like to take a vote on that quickly, if that's okay with everyone. If you disagree with that, please let me know. Okay. All right. So can someone make a motion that we should send out a letter of support in reference to the Shoelace Park fitness equipment?
I'd like to make a motion that this is Ted, that we
Mhm.
make a motion in support of the shoelace, the fitness equipment for the shoelace park.
And this is Michelle. I will second that.
Okay. And then just for the committee members, can we say that this is a unanimous vote of a letter of support? Anyone that disagrees with that? Just please voice your opinion now. Okay, so I think we're okay. All right, so that's the unanimous. I'm sorry? That's the unanimous. Miss Gibson, I'm sorry. Can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, I was wondering, did they decide on the water fountain or keep it alone?
Miss Gibson, I'm sorry. You're breaking up a little bit. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can hear you a little bit, but it's still like you're breaking up a little bit. Go ahead. What did you say?
Did they decide to keep the one water fountain or put in a second one?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. I cannot hear totally what you said. Something about a separate one, and that's all I could hear. No, I cannot. Is it me, or can anyone hear her clearly?
No, we're hearing exactly what you're hearing.
On a speaker, maybe you want to, if you're on a speaker, maybe you want to take off the speaker because you're not clear. That's why.
Yeah, my phone. All right. If they decided for one water fountain or a second water fountain.
About the water fountain, that they will clarify, I think, after. This was really about the fitness equipment more so. This was but you were here for the presentation, so it was more about the fitness equipment. Yes, it was more so about the fitness equipment, Miss Gibson.
I don't know if this helps, but I remember there was discussions about having a water fountain closer.
Right, but
so this is for the original plans.
This is for the original plans. This is not about the water fountain.
They're not including a new water fountain closer.
No, not this. But this was not part of the original proposal. This is only about the fitness equipment. So that is a separate issue that the Parks Department will get back to us on. That is something that they said that yes, they would look into that, but it's not part of this what we're voting on now. Yes, we're voting on now. Okay. So for the committee members of the Parks Committee, I think we're okay. All right. Next, I'm going to move on to the letter of support for the proposed Jamba Gardens, and that was located at Morola Place and Pratt Avenue. Jaylene is on the line, and I just wanted to say that back in July 15th of 2015, at the time, we were not in session, but what I did was they needed a preliminary letter from us to kind of get them started. And so what I was suggesting at that time is that the where this garden is located is currently really an eyesore to the community. I happen to live right around the corner from it, and it would be a perfect space for the proposed garden. And I think it would serve to strengthen the community ties and bring much needed fresh produce to the area to allow our elderly population and young people to kind of come together in a productive manner and nurture relationships within our community, especially in all that we've kind of gone through with the pandemic. So that was why I gave them that preliminary letter of support. But now that we are in session, we need a full letter of support from the committee so that they can then proceed with what they're doing. And Jaylene, you're on the line, correct? Jaylene, you're here. Yes. So if you could just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit more about what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jaylene. I just recently graduated college, and I have been working on this community garden project with my sister, who can be on the call today, for about a year, probably a little bit longer than a year. And this is, I think, the third time that I've spoken to this committee about the garden, but yeah, everything Denise said, I echo. We're looking to build a community garden on Bronx Block 4922, lot 87. And like she said, it's a lot that's been vacant and neglected for over 10 years. When you pass by it now, it's just like overgrown. There's trash in the lot, and we're looking to create a space, yes, for produce and food, and definitely to teach people about food independence. But I think also, like Denise was saying, our mission is to create a space in the community of agency, a place where people can meet and find community across all ages. And yeah, for people who do remember like previous conversations about the garden, just to give like an update about the progress. Basically, after like a year of submitting applications and going through the process with Green Thumb, the lot is actually under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation. So the original way we were told to go about the process was that the Department of Transportation was going to transfer their lease to New York City Parks, and then Green Thumb, which is a part of New York City Parks, was going to give us access to the lot. But recently, Department of Transportation said that they want us to go through their application process to get access to the lot instead of Green Thumb. So right now we just resubmitted the application to the Department of Transportation, and it's with their legal team. And so we're waiting for their approval process, and we have a meeting on Thursday. But yeah, basically one thing that they're looking for in the application is a letter of support from the community board of the district. And like Denise said, we have a preliminary letter of support, but I think, just to strengthen the application, because at this point, like I said, we've been involved in this process for over a year, and we're just kind of looking to have like as clean of an application as possible. And that's why we're looking for a more robust letter from the community board.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jaylene. So are there any questions for Jaylene at this time?
Just want to congratulate her on graduating, and looking forward to seeing more projects coming from her. She's very well spoken and very proud of you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jaylene. Congratulations as well. I know you've been here, as you said, several times before, and I want to thank you also for your persistence and your dedication to this project. Question regarding the lot. Is the lot currently fenced? And
Yes.
it is fenced.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of you, if you were to get the lot, are you going to need like maybe a tractor or bulldozer or anything to help in preparation of the lot?
I don't think we'll need anything that big. I'm pretty involved in the like urban garden community around the Bronx, and I've shown the lot to a couple of seasoned gardeners, and they don't think that it'll be that rigorous of a process to transform it into a garden. So I don't think we'll need any like I don't think we'll need a tractor or a bulldozer, but it definitely will still be a process to transform it.
What about soil? Are you just using the soil that's currently there, or you have to import like garden soil?
Yeah, we definitely are gonna have to import garden soil just because, like I said, like that lot it's been really, really neglected for 10 years. And so the likelihood that the soil is, if we, the likelihood that the soil is suitable for growing is very low. But luckily, Green Thumb, even though our application isn't going through them anymore, they still are in support of this garden and they are still gonna give us resources once we have the lot secured. So that's definitely one thing that they'll be providing to us.
Okay, great. And the last thing, if again, if once we get a lot, would there be space for other people to help to you know help the garden in this in on the on the lot?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said, our main goal with the garden is not just to produce food, but to teach members of our community how to be food independent. And like this project was birthed out of the food insecurity that was so rampant during the pandemic when, a lot of people realized that the food sources, I would argue that the food options in this district render our community a food desert in the sense that we don't have enough options to fresh produce and healthy food options, and our food market is overrun by fast food and greasy food. And so our mission with this garden is not just to provide, but actually to teach. And we have again, like once we get the lot, our mission is to run programming so that all members of our community of all ages can learn how to garden. And we plan for the structure of the garden in terms of like the garden beds and different people having access to be completely communal. So basically, like some community gardens run where community members would rent out a lot, and then like you are responsible for that part of the garden, like that plot of land. But I mean, and of course, once we get the lot, this is like a conversation for the whole community. But the way that we imagined this community garden running is completely communal. So it wouldn't be like specific community members have access to plots because then plots run out. And what we would prefer is everyone having access to all parts of the garden. So definitely once, and obviously like in order to maintain a garden, there will have to be like different levels of commitment, and the people who like show the most commitment to the garden will, just have more time in the garden. But again, like our goal is through programming and community outreach to have as many people in the community in the garden learning how to garden.
Great. And lastly, how do you hope to
How do I hope to what?
irrigate the land? Where do you get water from?
Yeah, I think that's also something that when we have the lot, we have to see about the different water sources available. But irrigation is also something that we will rely on Green Thumb resources and funding to facilitate.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm fully in support of it.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Dickerson, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, good evening, Jaylene. I need to tell you, I am beyond proud of you. I can't even begin to tell you. I put all my information for you in the chat
Thank
because
you.
I am also the chair for the Education and Youth Services Committee. And I think you and I can do some wonderful things with our youth prayerfully. you know, I know your time, but please contact me and let me know, and be safe. Okay,
Absolutely.
and stay blessed.
Absolutely. I think that also something that we can talk about is like, so I regularly update Denise when we have like updates about the garden, but if there are other people who are like interested in following along the progress, I'm happy to create like a email chain if people want to
Okay.
send emails, and I'm happy to, like I said, I have a meeting on Thursday with the legal team of the Department of Transportation, and I'll definitely have notes from that meeting. So if other people are interested in updates like that on the garden, again, yeah, just like send me your contact information in the message, and I'm happy to compile them and start an email thread with information with updates.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jaylene. Beatrice, I see you have your hand raised.
Jaylene, are you one of our on our board?
No, she's not currently.
But you live in our district?
Right now I'm in transition because I just graduated college, but I'm looking for housing in the district, yes.
Okay.
And I grew up there, but I left for college.
We are in need of more members like you. This is definitely the mission of our community board, and even having a platform where we can educate our residents as to health initiatives and healthy initiatives. I could see you informing a lot of our members and possibly partnering up with some initiatives that we want to implement coming up in September. So thank you, Denise, for bringing Jaylene on board, and we're learning a lot through you. So we hope that you, once you move into the district, you would consider joining our board.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to be as involved as possible because the community garden is not going to, even like getting the lot hasn't been possible without the support of the community, and sustaining the garden definitely will take all hands on deck. So definitely once I'm settled and move in, I definitely am looking to be more involved. So thank you for the invitation.
That would be great. We have a community survey that we've been passing around. One of the things that came up is beautification of our neighborhoods, so this fits in. But the other issue that came up is a lot of people were concerned with health issues that resulted because of the pandemic. And so having a garden, right? Like I can't even see if you teach people or have a platform where you're talking about herbalism as a form of medicine, and how people can learn more about herbalism. I think that would be something beneficial for the community as well. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One thing that I wanted, John Isaac, are you there?
Yes, I am. I was muted, but I'm here.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know that we might be reaching out to you depending upon how we're hoping that from here everything goes smoothly with the Department of Transportation. But just in case you might have some resources that will help Jaylene along the process, please make sure that we can get in touch, that we can reach out to you and use you as a resource as well.
Definitely, and I'm gonna try to use some of my resources with DEP also. If
Okay.
any assistance.
All right. I definitely would appreciate
I'll
that.
be down at the garden helping her out.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. All right, are there any other questions for Jaylene before we can put this to a vote? All right, so can I have a motion in a letter of support for, and please help me, sometimes I think I pronounce the name of the garden wrong, so help me, Jaylene.
It's Ujamaa Bronx Community Garden.
Okay, Ujamaa Bronx Community Garden. So
Ujamaa is a Swahili word that means without the community. It's a word that embodies that, like, without the community one is nothing, and without one the community is nothing. So it's a word that
excellent. All right. That's why I like to have the young people around. They could teach me things, keep me on my toes. Thank you so much. So I would like a motion regarding the letter of support. If I can have that from one of our committee members.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, Mr.
To,
Boris.
for a letter of support for this community garden.
Can I have that be seconded, please?
Second.
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 Second and third and fourth.
Second by Ted James. Second by Ted
Yes.
James. Thank you so much. So committee members, we are going to put that to a vote, but I think we can all say unanimously that we are 100% behind Jaylene. And let me just say publicly, I've sent this to you privately, Jaylene, that I know that at times this process has been frustrating for you. As Mr. James pointed out, your perseverance and your dedication to this mission is we just absolutely embrace you as a community and we are thankful for you. So, okay, so just keep on. I know sometimes it gets frustrating and it's hard, but know that I am a phone call away and you see that you have the support of it's not just a Ms. Bond thing. You have the support of the entire community behind you. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
All right. So, and you could when you go to the meeting on Thursday, you let them know that the community board we're keeping an eye on this and we want this to work out. So they need to make it work for us. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Next on the agenda. Hold on. Let me go back to the agenda. Oh, wait. Did I lose my agenda? I should hope I didn't. Hold on. You know, I always have a little technical issues with this WebEx. WebEx and I, we are not the best of friends, but we're going to make it work.
You got this, Ms. Bond.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right.
It's good, man.
So we are working our way through the agenda very nicely. Matt Duron. Yay, Matt. You are up. You're next. You're next, Matt. With the Seton Falls, I can say,
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Before you actually start, I can actually answer the question that I had there about the Seton Falls Park, because I noticed that they had cut the entrance to the playground area and I could see that they did work the perimeter. That's what I saw on my end. I didn't go to the 233rd side, but I know on my end on Bowler and Marola that they did cut down the shrubbery. They did actually cut that down. So I think that part is answered. There was a question about another area, but go on. You could answer about the as summer youth and then say what you have to say, Matt. Go ahead. Sorry, while I look this up.
First off, I'll just say very nice work for the community garden. That's right across from Seton Falls Park. So you'll have those two property, or you'll have the Seton Falls property to as a fallback on that right across the street. The other thing is, and just an idea I want to throw out for you guys in Community Board 12 is around gardening and sustainable food and produce, all that. We just successfully were able to start a farmers market in Community Board 11, and another individual really passionate about it. And that takes a while. It took probably a year and a half, because last year it started out as just a co-op, and then it progressed into an 8 to 10 vendor full farmers market where people are bringing fresh and organic produce down on Sundays. And so we supported that through that whole inception down in Community Board 11. So that's going to be on Sundays right next to Bronx Park through the rest of the summer into, I think, October. So that's Bronx Park East and Unionport Road, that intersection. So if you're down there anyway, you can take a look at that and you could talk to, her name is Judy. She really persevered through the whole process, which was about a year and a half for that. So
I'm sorry, Bronx Park East and what did you say, Matt?
Unionport Road.
And Unionport Road. And how many vendors do you have?
Well, it's early in the season. I think she has up to 10 vendors lined up for the whole year.
Okay.
But as you know, there's not a lot of produce coming out of farms that were just in gardens that were just planted about a month and a half ago. So as the season progresses, you'll get more and more fresh food that comes from each one of these vendors to this particular farmers market.
Okay.
So I love to see stuff like that happening, whether it's in parks, adjacent to parks, or across the street from parks. So, all right, let me go back to my agenda. Okay, so Seton Falls Park, yes, we do the whole perimeter. Now, just to give you a little bit of insight onto the progression of the maintenance and operations and how we work, we have a crew that cuts all of the Bronx. So we have two large crews, and they're all working sort of independently of me. I do communicate with them on a regular basis. I put in requests to have certain parks done, but as the park manager for an area, Community Board 11, Community Board 12, and all the parks in the Bronx River corridor, I don't directly control the cutting or the grass cutting and trimming. So I could influence them, but they don't work under me, whereas everybody else that works in those geographical areas does. So with that said, I do know that they do come and go. So they'll have tractor drivers that will come and do the bulk amount of the cutting. If they don't finish, they come back. They might get pulled away to go to a different park for an event or a day, and then they'll come back and finish that. And then there's another group of trimmers that come and they do all the trim work around the stuff. So it doesn't all happen simultaneously in the parks. So just knowing that if you see it happening and you see like the park halfway done, just know that in the days to come, it will catch up and we'll complete the whole area before we totally move away and go to another area of the Bronx. So that includes the inside, the outside of parks. All right. Any questions on that?
I do have one question. There was a constituent from Community Board 12 that had some concerns once again about the maintenance of Shoelace Park and Hyman Park. And I guess your answer for Seton Falls Park would apply to those parks as well.
Yep. The process is the same regardless of the park location, name of park.
Oh.
It's the same crews that are doing all of it.
Okay.
So,
right. Who would I be able just to get an idea of the schedules from?
me, everything would have to go through me. I mean, I talk with them on a routine basis throughout the week. So if you have any specific questions, I can get information from them and get it back to you. So it's just a wing, a finger in the agency that I don't directly control. That's not under me, right? But I do interact with them on a daily basis, so I do know what's going on because they're responsible for cutting all of my parks within my jurisdiction. And so the complaints don't go to the cutting crew, they still come to me as the manager. So I have to be able to get information from them where we are.
All right. Sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
I was just gonna say there's been a difficult season up until now. So, we are behind. It's not where we want to be, but we're not. It's not for lack of effort and lack of trying.
Okay. So if we could just maybe have an idea about Shoelace and Hyman Park. I'm not even sure where the Hyman Park is located, to be 100% honest.
Shoelace, yeah, I'm confused on that one too.
Yeah, that's what it was in an email, so I'm not 100% sure. I do see that Victoria has her hand raised. Victoria?
Yeah, I received that email from Speaker Heasty's office, and so I just wanted to provide a little bit of clarity and back context, which is so I think Hyman Park is actually like a subsection of Shoelace Park. It's like where that big oval is in Shoelace. I'm not sure what the origin of the name is, but I'm sure there's an interesting story behind it. But specifically what concerned me, I mean, obviously we know that, the mowing crews have a lot to do and that they're on this rotation schedule and it falls behind because there's just so much work and they're understaffed, as is like the entirety of the Parks Department. But I was also concerned about the fact that community members cannot even make a complaint about Shoelace Park because in the 311 database, Shoelace Park does not actually exist as an option to report a problem. So I'm glad that you brought it up, Miss Bond, because I was curious if that's something that this committee could get traction on, or Matt, if you're aware of like what needs to be done to like resolve this, which is that, you know, if there are issues at Shoelace, there's not really a platform to report it reliably. Um, and it kind of, if you look in the 311 portal to report an issue at parks, you go on the map, Shoelace is not an option, and then you go on the map to try to find it, and like the options end at Bronx Park, like right before Shoelace starts, like in that Fort Knox area. So I was just curious if anyone on this meeting could provide insight into how we move that forward.
That's interesting because I get plenty of complaints on Shoelace Park. So uh, I'm curious to how they're going about getting it in the system. Um,
Maybe just calls is how they're getting it in.
it could be. So the whole 301 system is based off the Cybele network. It's a computer system. And we've been using it for about 12, 12 years. So I have no input. I have no idea how to go about making changes through that. I guess you could start at the community board with George. You know, he always has lines into every different agency, different parts of the agency. But it could be that they're calling up, talking to an operator, and the operator is putting it through into Shoelace Park. Because I can verify that we get plenty of complaints for that area. Um, and they're specific to, you know, cross streets and everything. So, yeah, I probably get about a dozen 3-in-1 complaints a day. So they're filtered in there. Are you talking about the phone app system?
Yes, the online
Okay.
portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have used that and I've navigated it, tried to go through that interface so I could at least see what it is. And the interface has a lot of limitations where if you call 311 and speak to an operator, they could get past that. I do know that because we've had issues putting stuff in that we want to get put in for graffiti on properties that is not ours, that we want to get that documented and identified for DOT lighting outages and other things like that. So it could be just the difference in those two. That would be my guess. I mean, I'm the recipient of all that, and I have nothing to do with the system and the interface.
Totally get it. Thank you for the clarity. It was just interesting that even, you know, a state assembly person staffer couldn't find, you know, was
Yeah.
unable to make the complaint on behalf of their constituent. So it kind of got brought to us. So that was the concerning thing for me.
Probably about 10 years ago, I really was able to work with the Siebel system as it was getting integrated into parks. And we noticed when during the first few years of use that you had to be super, super specific on how you were making these requests with the 301 operators just to get that to go to the particular agency and wing of the agency that you wanted the help with. So I'll just quick example. If you said, um, there's um, there's this huge tree in front of my house that I want cut down because it's pushing up my sidewalk. And so that would go in as a tree removal and it would get denied as a tree removal because we don't cut down trees, but it wouldn't get into the trees and sidewalks program where it needed to go, where it then would have gotten inspected and rated and put on a list just to have the sidewalk issue created. And so this is stuff that we worked with 311 to communicate this type of stuff and sort of educate them on how to go about taking a community member's request and make sure it would get to where it needed to get because some of the stuff is, here's the request, it's either yes or no, gets denied, and people get frustrated when that wasn't exactly the motive behind the call in the first place. So, I mean, there's just a little bit of background, but I don't know beyond what I've mentioned already. Sorry.
Well, Victoria, the other thing is that I will give George a call in the morning and pass on that information to him and then try to figure out which is the best avenue that we should go to get this rectified, and then I will give you a call back. Okay?
Thank you so much, Ms. Bong.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Victoria, I could forward you the requests as they come in for Shoelace Park, so you can.
No,
I
thanks.
don't think she wants that, Matt. I don't
Okay.
think.
Okay. Just
All right. Any other questions for Matt before we move on?
well, there was the SYEP.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I can't answer that. I don't have any information on number of participants in the program this year.
Okay.
So,
But you definitely know you are going to be getting some
I have not even had that confirmation yet.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, just an interesting side note. My son has applied through the Summer Youth Employment Program, and I did see where that did come up. So I would imagine that you're going to be getting some. I don't know how many. I just saw that it came up. My son's he's not interested in working in the parks this summer, but I did see that it did come up. So that's why, but that's what led me to ask the question in
Okay.
case you knew. But I would imagine you would get some. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we generally do for
Okay.
each one of the community boards I work in, and they're gonna go to flagship parks usually first, depending on the number that we have.
But the
So
number, okay.
depending on the number of participants for each community board. So the first flagship park in Community Board 12 is Haffen Park. So,
Gotcha.
and then any overflows from there would, it would either be Shoelace or Seton Falls Park. And so I couldn't tell you offhand yet. So
All right.
that information gets compiled and organized from a different part of the agency, and then they just let the managers know what to expect in our areas.
All right. It could I just ask a request of you that if once you do get that information, if you could just shoot me a text and say, Ms. Bond, I got 2 people for Seton Falls, I got 3, I got whatever you get.
Yeah,
I would
certainly,
just
absolutely.
I'd be curious to know what the number turns out to be.
Yep.
Hi,
Yeah,
Mrs.
no
Bond.
problem.
I did have a question.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I did not see your hand. Go ahead, Mr. James.
I was muted. Mr. Matt, what's the latest on the RV park, or the remote control
The
park over
RV
at
park.
Shoelace?
Well, nothing has really happened since last year. We allowed them to operate under parks permit. We did monitor. The usage was low, I must say. We did have an incident, and I've been investigating to try to get a phone number where I could reach out to someone with them, because the area was vandalized, and so the only people that we know are 2 people that are allowed to use it, one through the Bronx River Alliance, and the RV people have constantly asked. And so I don't know. I'm investigating that as we speak, but that's it. I mean, there's been no forward momentum, but it hasn't changed. The park's position on that, rather, from last year hasn't changed.
Okay.
Right. And I can say that I did reach out to oh boy, Mr. I see his face and can't get his name in my head right this moment, but he did tell me that Corey is his first name, and I don't remember his last name, but
Right.
he has turned over the reins of the organization to someone else because of his schedule. He works in I believe that he's a first responder, and so with his work schedule, he just found it that he could no longer actually be the figurehead for the organization. So someone else in the organization is working with the organization now. So that's the only thing that I can tell you about that. I don't know more than that. I don't even have that contact's name. So that particular contact. But that's what I can tell you so far.
Yeah, we keep an eye out in the area, and I have staff in every day on weekends for the rest of the year. So
Okay.
if we see people, we'll stop and ask. And I did get a name and number just
Okay.
from asking around and investigating this incident. So I do have
Okay.
someone to reach out to.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, good to know. You can pass that on to me when you get a chance.
Sure.
Ms. Patterson, you had a question for Matt?
No, just a general statement. We haven't had summer workers in Seton Falls Park since 2018. And the last time we had them, they came from Mishula Montefiore Community Association, and they were what they call the sponsoring group for the summer workers. So we haven't had summer workers since 2018.
Right, but it is on their, just so that you know, Ms. Patterson, it is on their website as an option for the youth.
Seton Falls Park.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, nice to know. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, any other questions for Matt? Oh, okay. All right. Miss Victoria, you're up.
Thank you. So I just wanted to resurface the conversation that was started at the last CB12 Parks meeting regarding a bulletin board for Shoelace Park. As the next round of CDBG funding, we start to apply for that, we have the ability to, here's the situation. If CB12 is unable to decide on a location at Shoelace for the bulletin board, we would really love to have it in a park instead of in storage for the whole season, right? And it's kind of, in order to put the work order in a timely manner, and like as it gets busier and busier, the likelihood that like the longer we wait, that the bulletin board will actually get put in this season, it just becomes less and less likely. So the options are, we can, if the board is able to decide on a location, that would be ideal, and then we put in a work order for the location in the park. Otherwise, we can just stick with what the original plan for this bulletin board was, put it in Starlight instead in the South Bronx. But for this next round of CDBG funding, we apply for another bulletin board and give the community board a little bit more time. Then by the time we actually get the new one, everything is set up and there's more of a plan in place for location and what community member or group would like to steward it and maintain it, all of those things. So I wanted to kind of provide you those two options, if that makes sense.
Okay. So the committee members and the community at large, what do you think? Here's your time to kind of weigh in on this. What should we do? Should we let it go to Starlight Park if we're not really 100% sure of where it should be positioned, and the big part of it for me, I think, is who's going to maintain and keep up with it, because we don't want to take something if we're not going to actually care for it and have it become an eyesore. So that is the biggest thing. So please keep that in mind as you render your comments.
Can you tell us more about this board? First, is it an electronic board?
No.
Does it have to be updated manually?
Yes.
All of that stuff. What about lighting?
Yeah, so it is a fairly plain wooden post bulletin board with like plexiglass covering a cork board essentially, that it has a lock on it, so whichever group would be maintaining it would be responsible for, yes, and manually unlocking, replacing flyers, updating information as needed, and relocking it, and stewarding it in that way. Probably at least on a monthly basis, I think, to keep everything updated, so that the information in the bulletin board is actually, useful for the community that uses Shoelace. We did say that the Alliance would be willing to at least start off maintaining the board, but the goal would be to have a more local group stewarding it, if that makes sense.
Okay, Mr. James, do you have any other questions, or can I go to Ms. Patterson?
It sounds like a great idea. As far as location is concerned, I would think maybe anywhere between 222nd, 216 rather, and 222nd will be a good idea for that. I would be interested in either offering my services or working with a committee in terms of keeping it updated. So that's something that I think I'll be able to handle.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Thank you, Mr. James, for that. Ms. Patterson, you would like to chime in about the bulletin board?
If Shoelace Park is not able to take the bulletin board, we would certainly take it over at Seton Falls Park. We had a bulletin board at Seton Falls Park for 4 years, and I have no idea. I came one day, Anita came one day, and the bulletin board was gone with no explanation. But if Shoelace does not want it, we will certainly take it. And in 4 years, we updated our bulletin board and took care of it the best we could. Even when it was cracked, we took the money from our coalition and put new plexiglass, because sometimes people will crack them,
No
But
disrespect, but you can't have it.
okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Wait, Mr. James, we have to vote. We have to vote. So there's a chance, Ms. Patterson. Don't go away. There's a chance. All right. Anyone else?
This is through the Bronx River Alliance, so it really needs to stay in the Bronx River corridor parks.
Well,
So
they were, but Mr. Duran, they were offering it up to the Community Board 12.
they were offering it at Shoelace Park,
Well,
which is in Community Board 12.
wait, hold on. Ms. Victoria, help me out here.
Yes.
What is the
So because we received the board as part of our CDBG funding, I believe, it has to fit like the parameters of the Bronx River Alliance's like mission and work, which is the Bronx River Alliance corridor, specifically parks along the Bronx.
All right, Mr. Duran. All right, you got one.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right. All right. So Ms. Patterson, sorry.
I'll be the bad guy.
It can't go to Seton Falls Park. All right. Anyone else? Now that we know that, all right, it has to stay in Shoelace Park. So it's either that Mr. James is going to be updating the board monthly at the moment, or it goes to Starlight. That's the only two things. Anyone else have any other comments or ideas about how and I think the big part of it is it's fine that we can get it placed in Shoelace, but who's going to be the caretaker for this? Who's going to look out for it? And so, other than Mr. James, I haven't heard anyone else say so.
Ms. Bond, what kind of information would be placed on that board?
I would think that it would be a calendar of events, of community events, things happening within the community, within Shoelace Park, that type of thing. Ms. Patterson, I see your hand. We'll get right back to you. Give me 1 minute.
Got it. So,
yes.
Mr. James, if you commit to that, you really have to, stay true to that, right? That you would be maintaining it monthly, so we don't look like we're an inactive board.
Well, one of the first thing that came to mind when I said this is Ursula sends out a wealth of information every month.
Yes, this
I
is
mean,
true.
I think more than we can stack on that board. So it's something that we don't have to go searching for information. We already have the information. It's a matter of just getting it and keep updating it on a monthly basis.
That is a good point, Mr. James. There is a wealth of
Yeah.
information that we do receive via
Of course,
email.
if there's other information, we can always add it, but I think
Right.
that alone is enough
Right.
information to keep it updated
Right.
and fully stacked, I would say.
Okay. So it just means that the what I want to ensure is that the level of commitment that it's going to take to update that monthly, that you're going to be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm literally a 5 minutes walk from the park,
Oh,
and
okay.
I go there on a regular basis for my
Okay.
exercise, so
Okay,
it will
perfect.
just be pretty much a part of my routine.
Okay. All right. Ms. Patterson, you had something you'd like to say?
That's what I was going to state. We had two people that we would go on a weekly basis because I have 6 schools around me, so anything can be vandalized at any moment. But two of us would go. We would take each week about and take whatever's on the bulletin board off, and put whatever is new on that's going on in the schools and also going on in the park in the community. And it worked out well for 4 years until someone vandalized the board.
Okay. All right. So Mr. James, then since you're going to be the caretaker of the board, what location specifically are we saying that this is going to go?
I actually don't have a specific location because what I'm thinking of is, do we have to actually go into the park to be able to view and read the board, or for instance, can they read it from Bronx
I
Bronx
think that
Bronx, Bronx Boulevard?
right. I would think that it has to be at least at entrance to the park. In that regard, it cannot be just out on the street. It has to be in the park itself.
Okay. Um,
If
in
you
So
do
that
give a
case,
cross street, we can
in
find
that
a
case,
proper location within the park. We put these in all the
maybe a
time.
good location would be right in that by the Gun Hill Circle down there.
Oh, wait, hold on one second, Mr. James. What were you saying, Matt?
I was saying that if you just want to give a cross street, then we could find the ideal location right inside the park at that cross street. So we put these in various locations to parks all the time. So
Okay.
we know the most advantageous specific location within the park where you're going to have as much travel and views as possible. But I think generally what we're looking for is just like the cross street, which area of Shoelace Park, because Shoelace Park is very long and
Right.
big. So
The two locations I would say would be either at the Gun Hill roundabout or up at the 222nd Street intersection where there's that like play area.
Mm.
Those would be the two places I would recommend.
what would be easier for you for maintenance of it?
I'm in the middle of both of them. Literally in the middle.
Which way do you travel more, north or south?
It depends.
Work
I
with me
covered it.
here.
I cover the entire area.
So you want to say
Okay.
222nd?
I think
Yeah.
222nd is a good spot.
Yeah, 222nd is ideal.
Okay, perfect. There we have it.
Yeah.
The decision has been made. 222nd
Yeah.
it is. All right. So that we look forward to that. That is good. I'm glad that we are able to settle and get
And
that.
how soon can we have this done, Matt?
Honestly, let me look at my calendar. So it is not realistic if I tell you it could be done within the next week or two, because our maintenance staff, our shop staff would be the ones to install it. And why can't I find the dates? Here we go. And pools open June 24th, and we are just absolutely swamped right now to get all the pools in the borough ready for that opening. So it would be after that weekend. So realistically, maybe the last week in June. Then we're getting ready for July 4th.
All right.
Yep.
So
I could push it.
That can
So
work for me.
yeah, I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen until after our pool opening is, because all of our staff is dedicated to that. So right after that, I'll be able to get it done.
So Matt, can we say, let's say anywhere between the last week in June and then the week after July 4th? Would
Yeah,
that
I
be
think that's
reasonable?
fair. Yep, that's reasonable. Absolutely. Victoria,
Yeah.
could you just send me an email to get a work order for that?
Absolutely, will do. Thank you,
And
Matt.
just let me know exactly where it is too, because I'll have to put that on the work order so the shops people could either,
Pick it up.
you know what we'll do? We'll make it easier for them, and we'll just have Mike or someone from the Alliance bring it up and drop it off to them.
At Renagua?
At Renacqua, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Victoria, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. So if you need to include that, you'll have that information.
Thank you so much, Mr. James.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Victoria, that you wanted to go over?
I do. Thank you for that collaboration, everyone. We might have another decision to make. So on July 22nd, the Bronx River Alliance is hosting a movie Under the Stars at Shoelace Park, which is exciting. We wanted to get some input from the community on the movie that we should book. So Miss Bond asked me to provide kind of a short list of family-friendly options that would be available. And so I can copy and paste those into the chat. And if there are any like very strong opinions, feel free to, you know, to share those. But these are some options. I tried to provide a range of things that are recent to, you know, things that are a little bit more classic. And I just didn't want to make kind of a decision based off of what I would want to see. I wanted it to be, you know, what folks in the neighborhood would want to see. And yeah, the sooner we can kind of come to consensus on a movie, the sooner we can get that in on the calendar.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'll read off the movies that were placed in the chat just so that everyone will be able to not only see it, but hear it. And then we could, if we could just give Victoria a decision at this meeting, that would be very helpful to her. So we have Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's a recent movie. Working in an elementary school, I know my children, they enjoyed that. Luca from 2021, Soul, which was one of my favorites in 2020, and The Lion King, the original or the remake. The original or the remake. Wait, hold on here. Both are available. And then Space Jam, A New Legacy. That also, they have the original is also available. And then as a bit of a throwback, we have the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella from 1997 and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990.
Ooh.
So, anything strikes anyone's fancy?
Ninja Turtles.
Wait, say that what? Ninja Turtles? Someone said?
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Wait, who is that? Who is that?
Hi, Miss Bond and everyone. This is Miss Baez.
Oh, hi, Miss Baez.
That's a great movie.
Right.
Oh, quick question. When do you need the votes by? Like, what's date?
No, we wanted to do it right now. We're doing it right now, Miss Baez.
Okay. Can we just do one vote, or can we submit two?
No, we're just gonna do whatever is the unanimous decision. Whatever, not a unanimous decision, but whatever majority rules. That's what I'm trying to get out. Majority
so
rules.
my vote.
Oh wait,
I
wait,
vote
hold
as
on,
Ninja Turtles.
hold on, hold on.
Is this for kids or adults?
It's family
Everybody.
oriented.
Family oriented. Okay, got
Family
it.
oriented.
Disregard my suggestion.
Oh wait, I didn't see your suggestion. Where? Oh, I didn't see this suggestion. Okay, so here, so the movie titles once again, and I'll kind of keep a little tally, so for it to be all official.
So let me just jump in, just a comment, just to preface what you're going to see. The goal is to get as many people out into the park to view this as possible. So that's the goal. And so think of that. It's not necessarily your favorite movie, but we
Right.
do want to just, reach
Get
out to
as
the
many people
community and
out.
just get
What's the
everybody out.
what's the location, Matt?
I don't know.
No,
I
Victoria.
Somewhere in Shoelace Park.
yeah, I have to work with
Okay.
Noel on what the best location for the movie crew is, but I'll provide those details.
It'll be probably right next to either one of the two playgrounds because we like to do movies next to a bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be somewhere around 219th or 227th, one of those two locations.
Got it.
Okay, so Spider-Man: No Way Home, 2022. That is when it was released. I'm in favor of that one, but that's just my singular vote.
Did you guys see Soul? That cartoon Soul?
I did. I love that.
That's a good one too.
Yes. All right, so Spider-Man, we only have one. All right. Luca? Anyone for Luca? Nope, no one's interested in Luca. Soul?
I vote for that one.
Oh, okay, so Soul. All right. Lion King original or the remake? Any Lion King people in the house? Nope. Yes, Ted James, Lion King?
I'm
Nope.
not a movie person, so
You're not a
I'll
movie
go.
person.
I'll go along with the majority.
All right.
But I
Space
think
Jam.
the one that tickles me is Spider-Man.
Oh, well, I'm gonna put you down as a Spider-Man then. That's two. All right. Let's see. All right. Space Jam. Crickets. Okay. Cinderella. More crickets. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Come on, Miss Baez.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay. And that's it. That is all that I have. That is it. So looks like it's gonna be Spider-Man. There were 2 votes for Spider-Man. Other people didn't vote. I don't know what to say.
Yep, Spider-Man.
It's
That's the
Spider-Man.
way it works. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the initiative on this voting process, Ms. Bond. I look forward to the Alliance hosting Spider-Man at Shoelace on July 22nd. Yes?
No, I said there we go.
Is there a movie backup in case Spider-Man doesn't work?
Sure. We can just in the off chance that the Parks Department, something happens with the licensing, that falls through. Do we have a second choice?
Soul or Ninja Turtles?
Great.
Or the Turtles.
Also, do we have a rain date? Because I just realized I'm going to be out of town that week.
We unfortunately don't get the rain dates for these events. So unfortunately, if it gets canceled for weather, I think it just gets canceled. But fingers crossed for good weather. And I'm sorry that you won't be able to make it, Mr. James.
All right. Ms. Patterson, you have a question?
A statement. You might be able to get another movie date in September. September tends to be a little bit sparse with movies because you never know what weather you get in September. But we've had movies that have been canceled because of rain, and we've been able to get another date in September.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson.
We'll keep that in mind. All right. Anything else you have, Miss Victoria?
That is all for me. Thank you so much.
I think it was productive. We got a lot done. We
did.
made it happen. We made it happen, Miss Victoria. We made it happen. All right. Next, let's see, where are we on the lovely agenda? Hold on. Thank you so much again, Miss Victoria. I appreciate you taking the time. And don't forget to check the Bronx River Alliance's calendar online and check up what they have going on. That's always, they have a lot of things that they're doing. So check that out.
Thank you for the plug, Miss Spot, doing my job for me.
That's it. That's it.
I put the link to the calendar in the chat if anyone's interested. We do have 2 stewardship events coming up in Shoelace in the next couple of weeks. If anyone is interested in either gardening, removing invasive species, or planting trees and native shrubs.
Oh, and the other thing that I don't know if Jalen is still listening in, but I know that the Bronx River Alliance does do soil testing, right? At some point. So Jalen, once we are speaking it into existence that the garden's going to come to fruition. So when you get started, just keep in mind that you can do that soil testing with Bronx River Alliance.
Absolutely. We have an XRF machine, which is a soil testing machine on loan from Cornell for the entire season. So anyone who does any community gardening or foraging or even just household gardening that wants to test their own backyard soil, you are more than welcome to take a soil sample and drop it off at our location at Starlight Park at 1490 Sheridan Boulevard, and we will test it for free. And it just takes a couple of minutes. If we're not able to process it on site when you drop it off, we will email you the results.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Next is just looking at the year in review. And I know it's been a lot, but what kind of goals do we want to set for next year? Just looking at where we have come from and where we are now and what we're looking forward to. I know I can start that conversation off by saying that I am very excited by what's to come in our community, in terms of our parks, in terms of our gardens, in terms of the parks. I'm really looking forward to that renovation of Haffen Park, because I think Haffen is really kind of a diamond in our community, because it is the one park that has the major pool, and it has the tennis courts. It has a little bit of everything. So to see that renovation is going to take place, it brings me some joy to know that is going to be taking place. So anyone else want to share anything out about what they look forward to, what they would like to see, maybe something addressed within the confines of the Parks Committee here? Anyone? Mr. James?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No.
Ms. Patterson, Ivan, anyone? Yes, Stephanie? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, I'm from PS21. I just put a comment in, but in like future consideration, I'm at PS21, and Rienzi Park is right next to our school, and I had gone online and filled out a request form, and also called up a number on 311, and just sometimes I would say not sometimes, like often the park is just very overgrown, and I just think it could be even better for the community. You know, there's like a baseball sort of diamond field there, but it's like it needs some maintenance. I just thought on maybe in the future if it could be put on the list of, you know, maybe there could be more there. You know, maybe there can be some enhancements in the future in that park.
Okay, all right. So that's something that, Matt, do you have any insight on that park for us? Matt, are you still there?
I'm here, just unmuting myself.
Okay.
So yeah, a local park. It has a very small athletic field, has a playground right next to it. It's a jointly occupied park, so it's right next to a school, and it's up to you guys. You could work with your elected officials as the Parks Committee. You could sort of move the arrow around to which particular properties you want to focus on and try to lobby to allocate money towards them. So, I mean, I won't
Okay.
say any more than that, but it's up to you guys at the community board. If that's the one you want to focus on, then that you get to make that decision. So,
All right. So, Stephanie,
Yeah.
we will definitely put it on our radar. And as the summer, progresses and then rolling around into September, it's something we'll definitely put on the radar. And I'm going to ask if you would please, if you wouldn't mind coming back in September also to just
Of course.
re kind of renew our set our sights on that once again. We would appreciate that. Okay.
if
And
Yeah,
you,
just
I work at the school, and we just started a community garden. We're doing a lot, and it's just nice. I'd just love to help the community. Just enhance it more. There's like a field where it's just like the grass has grown like 3 feet high. And
right.
yeah, but thank you, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So
I could
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
for the next community board meeting after the summer, I could just give you the stats on that and give you and share my screen, show you some pictures.
Okay, perfect. That would be great. Thank you, Matt. So, Stephanie, you see,
Thank you, everyone.
we're making some progress already.
Thank you, Ms. Bond.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anyone else? Anyone else has anything that they would like to share or any ideas that they have moving forward?
So, Mrs. Bond, for myself,
Yes.
this is Michelle.
Hi.
So one of the things is that hopefully for the future, a little bit more containment of the scooters, would be nice. I see it as recreation and leisure, but they're like all over, so it's like an eyesore for me, I think, and other persons in the community. So I'm hoping that that's something that can be done. I don't know if this is where we, like for future, if anyone here that could assist with that.
Right.
And yeah, that's something in that. And another thing that was mentioned too is that about farmers market. And I'm involved with part of the farmers market in that we do get a distribution of health bucks in my church that we give out to the community. But a concern for constituents is that they have to go travel so far for a farmers market, which I believe it's at one is at North Central and there's another one at Jacoby, but none in the over this side in the community board. Maybe there might be one at Bissell Park. I think Bissell Park, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I don't think it's the same as other areas where people would want to go. That I believe that's on Saturday mornings, and I'm not sure if it's consistent during that farmers market season.
Miss Patterson. Wait, one second. Well, I'm going to come back to you, Stephanie, in 1 second. Miss Patterson, wasn't there some sort of a farmers market off of two?
Yeah, it's Bissell Gardens. She talked about it. But Bissell
Okay.
Gardens, I know they start in July. They're supposed to start, they usually have one, the day that they're open is Wednesdays and they're open on Saturdays. And I think what's happening with them is they're losing people who are interested in working in the garden. I think they only have 2 trucks that come down, if I'm not mistaken now. But if anybody's interested in working with them, I can give you some information on how to, help them help their garden because they've been in existence for like 30 years. So you can imagine if you were 20, 30 years ago, what is your age now, So that's what's happening with them. They need to help. But I think this season they said they definitely be open on Wednesday mornings. I don't know if they're going to still do Saturdays, but anyone who's interested, let me know or let Miss Bond know and she'll let me know.
All right. Well, Jalen already has stepped up and she said that she's interested in helping. She put it in the chat.
Great.
All right. So Jalen, I believe you have already Miss Patterson's information, so you can contact her and she will guide you in who to speak to about that. So this is good. We have some good ideas coming up. Stephanie, you had your hand raised.
I think it was from before. I didn't put it down. So.
Oh,
but thank
sorry.
you.
Okay.
But thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else with any other ideas or things that they would like to see for the coming year? This is a good time, I think, to kind of start thinking about those things and getting our ideas out. No? Okay. All right. Well, look, as always, I thank you for your time and your effort. I think, let's see, did I cover everything on the agenda? The only thing I always like to plug, the urban park rangers, they always have a full calendar of events of things that they are doing. I can include that link in the chat for you. So if you're looking for some outdoor activity to take part in, definitely check out the Urban Park Rangers.
Excuse me, Miss Vaughn.
Yes.
Of the summer camps in our areas, the kids usually have different trips to go out on.
Okay.
Maybe we could find a summer camp at one of the housing authorities so they can make that a field trip to the garden. I think that'll be a plus. I just thought of it.
To Bissell Gardens?
Any of them. Yeah, to make, put it on their calendar for the summer. They're there during July and August, and they take field trips, and it could be to the garden.
Okay. Stephanie, I see you raised your hand.
Yeah. I was just going to share with you, like, I've gotten on a whole bunch of websites and things, just different connections in Bronx gardens. And I know a lot of the Bronx, like the New York City Grows or Grown New York City, they offer opportunities to take trips to Governor's Island to their park. And
Okay.
I had participated in something that was outstanding, which was a 5-mile bike tour of the Bronx community gardens. And like, I wonder if you talk to any of those organizations. It was like so many. I mean, I don't have the list now, but like so many wonderful organizations have so many things like that. I'm sure they can work with the camps, like they can offer something, because they always have like tours of different things that were great. So I was just sharing that.
I'm Stephanie, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and when you have that information, then if you could email it to me, and then we can kind of, I will forward it to Ursula, and we can put it out there to the community during the summer months. So thank you for that. Thank you for your suggestion, Ms. Gibson. Ms. Patterson, I see your hand.
Yes, I put in the chat that Seton Falls Park is going to have their invasive species pull and identifying of plants this Saturday. We will be working with the Natural Areas Conservancy, which has gotten a $150,000 grant to work in Seton Falls Park in our 32 acres of natural parkland to get our trails up to a better level than they are now. Also, the New York City Parks Department Stewardship Program will be part of that event. I put it in the chat. It is this Saturday, 9 to 12. We will start at Crawford Avenue and Bowler Avenue. So please let everybody know and don't hesitate to come by and help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson, for that. Is there anything else that anyone would like to share or has any questions or concerns about? All right. Well, once again, I would like to say thank you to you all for bearing with me as I try to figure out how to maneuver and get things done for us within Community Board 12. And thank you for your participation. And none of this can be done without everyone in our community working together, we have to have eyes and ears everywhere within our community, and then coming together to think of what's the best possible way to get problems resolved or to get funding or to get things done within our community so that we can beautify our community.
I have a question.
Yes, yes, I'm listening. Who said that? Oh, yes,
Hi,
Ms. Baez.
it's Miss Bias. Yes, I have a question. And I do want to apologize in advance. I noticed that I lost the track of time to take down my signages that I had placed along the fences of 233rd for Seton Falls before the construction started. Is that something that if I don't have access to take down because of those machines and, you know, things that I can't get over, is that something that they will hand in to parks, or are you're just gone?
Wait, so you want to put the signs up and you want to know if it's okay to put the signs? Is that what you were saying?
No, I want to take them down. I lost the track of time to take
You
them
want to
down
take,
prior. Yeah, because they started a construction, and when I went there recently, I was like, oh, let me see if I can take down some. There are some that the fencing is covering, or there's that many, you know, machines, so I can't get over that to take them down.
oh,
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's something that the subcontractor and their workers will take down and either toss in the trash or they will hand it into parks. I'm not sure.
I'm not so sure, but maybe Matt, can you answer that? Because I would not know.
Most
how to
likely
do
they'll just get disposed of. They don't hand us anything. Inside, we identify the construction zone, they put the fence up, and now the contractor owns the jurisdiction inside that construction zone during construction under contract. So my best recommendation would be if you see them working there and you could see signs that are behind the fence and in the construction zone, you could ask someone to just take them off the fence and give them to you. Otherwise, we don't even myself and my staff, we don't go in there because they're responsible for everything, including cleanliness and keeping the fences up and all of that. So,
All right.
so if you want them back, it would just be a friendly gesture to ask some of the construction workers on site if you see any of them that they could get for you. If not, they'll be disposed of. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any way to also notify the contractor, you know, prior to, because I'm not sure what days they're working during the weekend. I'm off at work. If I can catch them in the weekend, I'll definitely take that into consideration. But if they're doing the work during the week, then I'm not sure if I can do that.
Yeah, we can't contact them, and we have nothing to do with the construction project itself. So it's a construction project, it's identified, we put together the funds, we put together the contract gets bid on, and once it gets awarded and we give them the area, then it's solely their responsibility, and they don't have to contact us. They have a certain time limit just to get it complete, but they don't have to give us all up-to-date descriptions of when they're going to be on site working or anything like that. They're on their own, so yeah, unfortunately, I can't really help in that capacity.
Okay. Well, I would think that they would just probably dispose of the signs. I don't think you have to do anything in Ms. Baez. I think that they'll just naturally, you know, kind of do that. All right,
Okay.
Miss Patterson, do you have anything? Your hand is raised, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to put it down.
Okay, no worries. All right. So, I think that we have come to a close. We are just about. I'm going to ask if one of the committee members would make a motion to close the meeting.
I make a motion. This is Michelle, that this meeting be adjourned.
Okay. Can I have a second? And Mr. James. Mr. James? All right. I'm going to second it. I'm going to second it, and we're going to close the meeting at 8:36. Thank you so much for everything. Enjoy the summer. Be safe. Lots going on out in our community, so just please be safe, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you the second week second Tuesday in September. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good night.
Happy
All right.
Father's Day to all the gentlemen. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes. All right. Take good care, everyone.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care.
Thanks for your support. Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Mrs. Bond, did you get a second? Because I was muted. You can hear me.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna. You're second. We'll have you a second. It's good. We're
Okay,
ending at
great.
8:36. We're okay. We got
Thank you. Okay.
it. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. And we are stopping.
Night.
Good night. We are stopping the recording.